Hey, what's going on, everybody? As y'all know, it's a little bit after 3 o'clock Central Standard Time. So we are live for another edition of Book Talk Live. Today I am joined by another brand new Amazon #1 best-selling author. We relaunched her book after 3 years to Amazon #1 bestseller status. Miss Ashley Thomas. How you doing today, Miss Ashley?
I'm good.
Yes, ma'am. So most people don't know who Ashley Thomas is, and I want you to go ahead and introduce yourself. Let the people know who you are. Let them know who Ashley Thomas is.
My name is Ashley Thomas. I wrote the book Poems by Gabrielle. It's a book of poetry based off of my life experiences. Um, I started writing at the age of 12, and my grandma was the first person that introduced me to a journal. And my sister, one of my older sisters, inspired me into writing poetry because she did journalism in college and she uh, did a newspapers. Um, I just started writing poetry because it was an escape for me because I didn't really talk to a whole lot of people. So using pencil and paper was something that I always did writing.
There you go. And and now there's a much deeper story behind your grandmother introducing you to your journal to a journal at the age of 12 and and you becoming a fan of writing. Um
Mhm.
one of the things before we even continue, I want to brag on Ashley because Ashley was one of the first people to actually enroll in and go through the Business of Books Mastermind program. Back then, it was actually called the CYD Author Incubator, where we were teaching different principles. But she was one of the first people that we published. So this launch was extremely special, that we were able to help her reach her goal of going #1 on Amazon. But most people don't know the backstory to Ashley Thomas. Tell us a little bit. So you mentioned your grandmother. What
Mhm.
why your grandmother? What did you grow up with your mom? What's the story there?
No, my mom, she was murdered when I was 7. So my grandma's been the mother figure to me. I lived with my dad, he was in the military, and how my mom, she was murdered. Someone ended up stabbing her in the chest while she was asleep. So it's just been a way, writing's just been a way for me to cope with things that's going on in my life.
Okay. So writing has been your escape, and it seems like that's a painful memory for you. I know it can be a very painful memory for you to talk about. Your mom being the one that wasn't that was murdered at such a young age. And the reason that I'm asking this is because I know that there's other people out there who may be dealing with, especially after 2020, the whole COVID crisis that we've been going through, have lost
Mhm.
some family member. How did you get past that? What was it that kept you moving forward through this?
Mm, just just trying to stay positive about everything. I know I can't control what happened, but like I said, writing just has always been that type of, it's like a therapy to me.
Mhm. It's been a therapy. So tell us a little bit about those poems. And it seems like there's a flashing light in your.
I think it's my fan that's making the light blink on and off. Hold on.
Okay, yeah, we want to make sure that lighting is not a distraction.
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
So so you say that and I know your story is so powerful. That's why I'm yesterday you shared a lot about your story, right? Um,
Mm-hmm.
and what's happening is I want to get a little bit more of your story so that the people who are watching get a chance to know the real you and are able to kind of tap in to who you are. All right. What we're gonna do, because it seems like Ashley is a little bit nervous, got a little bit going on. We're gonna give her a second to go ahead and get the lighting right, and we'll be back after a brief word from our sponsor, the Business of Books Mastermind Program, in about 2 and 2. We'll be back with you all shortly. Everybody has a story, and so do you. We know that you've been through life, been through heartaches, been through pain, been through depression. You've thought about writing your book for years, wanting to help change lives because of the things that you've overcome. We don't know what your story is, but we can help you turn your story into a living, breathing book that creates opportunities for you to impact lives and change the world. The Business of Books is here to teach you the opportunities that come from your book, how to write your book, how to brand yourself, how to market your book, and how to get in front of the right people to sell that book. We have an amazing team of designers, an amazing team of editors. We have a team behind you to help you get through your first book and get to the world so that the world knows you are here. So remember, everybody has a story. It's time to write yours. Hey, and we are back. Book Talk Live with number one best-selling author, Amazon number one best-selling author, Miss Ashley Thomas, author of the book Poems by Gabrielle. So for those of you who are tuned in, who are watching, make sure you click on the go to you visit poetashleythomas.com so that you can grab a copy of her amazing book of poems. And we were touching a little bit on her story, of how she came up, some of the things that she's been through. And like I said yesterday, you shared a lot of intimate details about how you grew up, about losing your mom at such an early age, and how you actually um, went through some things that you discovered. And so I want to touch on those things as we move forward so that the people actually know who Ashley Thomas is. So what inspired you to write your book, Poems by Gabrielle?
What inspired me? Um, it's just something I've always wanted to do. I wanted to like get my story out and allow others to know that whatever you're going through, you can overcome it. And whatever you do want to do in life, you are able to achieve it.
Okay. Yeah, that's powerful. Whatever you're going through, you can overcome it, and whatever you are chasing, you can achieve it in life. And so, Ashley, has it been easy for you? Um, because most people look and they say, well, she's a published author. She's finally got her book out there. So life must have been easy for us. Tell us a little bit of your backstory. Um, and I want to say who tell us a little bit more about how you were raised, um, and some things that you discovered recently. And I'm asking these questions for a very specific reason.
Um, my dad, I was raised by my dad who was in the military, and he wasn't affectionate. He was more of an authoritative parent. It was whatever he says goes, and there wasn't no questions asked. He just did it. So I just grew up living with my dad and one of my siblings. And I just had a whole lot of tragedy in my life. Um, One, my mom was murdered when I was 7, and then in 2016, I found my dad deceased in his home. And then in 2018, my sister passed away from ovarian cancer.
Wow. Yeah, so three different different family members. And were those family members close to you?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, dad. We didn't always have the best relationship, but when it came to my kids, my two boys, he was there for them. Like he was there for them. I guess I could say more than he was for me, in a sense, because he did everything for them. He took them to Dallas Cowboy game, Baylor games. We all went on a cruise together with my sister. And how I came about discovering him, I tried calling him to see if he was going to go to my youngest son's play because he normally goes to all their functions. And he didn't answer the phone, so I just kind of gave it some time to see if like he would call me back, and he never called me back. And that was like a Tuesday. I called him. Thursday, I decided to go and check on him because I thought maybe, okay, well, he might be on his cruise that he said he was going to go on. So I went to his house to see if all his cars was there because he had 4 or 5 different cars and all his cars were there. And I went to go to his door. The door was already cracked, and my kids at that time they were 4 and 5. They didn't even want to go inside. Like they already sensed something was going on, but I didn't think nothing of it. So we went inside and I was calling my dad's name. And normally my kids, they'll like go directly to his room, but they just wanted to stay in the den. So I'm calling his name and I finally just go back to his room and no response. And I'm knocking on the door. And then I go inside his room to where the bathroom is. And in his bathroom, he has a wall that separates the toilet and the bathtub. And I noticed that his um, legs were sticking out from the wall. So I call his name, and then I go into the bathroom, and like it looks as if he's sleeping, and it's not registering with me that like something's really wrong. So I called my sister that was already in Austin, letting her know that he wasn't responding or anything. So she told me call the ambulance and everything, and I went outside across the street to his neighbor that was mowing his grass, and I stopped and asked him when the last time he had saw my dad. And this was April 21st, 2016, like the same day that Prince had died. I went to the neighbor, I asked him when last he saw my dad, and he said it was on April the 14th because his security system went off and it sent a text message to him. And so he went to my dad and he talked to him and everything was fine. And then like I was just trying to figure out from other people because the paramedics was like he had to pass a couple of days before I found him. And like his legal shield, he was faithfully on a legal shield call. And the legal shield team said he didn't call in for the conference meeting. He always was on it, didn't show up. And his aunt he was supposed to pick up from the airport. She wasn't. She said that he never came. He never called. And from what the paramedics, my dad he had a lot of health issues. I only knew about a few of them. He was diabetic, and come to find out through reading through his medical history, he had like pulmonary embolism and a whole lot of other different things, and that he was in denial of. So the paramedic was like, he was supposed to already uh had his legs amputated, like it was that bad. I never noticed it because he always had on long socks.
Yeah.
So, and
Okay.
then with my sister, she found out when it was too late. She found out that she had cancer. It was already at stage 3, and she had went through chemo and everything, and had her ovaries removed, but they said it was still spreading, and her kidneys were failing. They told her that she had to go on dialysis, but she didn't. She said it would make her itchy. She wasn't comfortable with that, so she chose not to do dialysis. And the very last day she was living, she had been in the hospital from December 9th to the 22nd. I got off early from work to go stay the night there, and I was gonna tell her about my book, and because she didn't believe that I had a book out or anything, so I decided. One of my cousins was like, "You should go tell her about your book you have," and I was like, "She won't believe me or nothing," but I went ahead and took it up there with me, and I got there and looked as if she might have been asleep, even though her eyes were open. She wasn't like moving around, so I just assumed she was sleeping. So I laid on the couch to wait for her to wake up, and I ended up falling asleep. And then next thing I know, the nurse is in there, and I asked her what's going on, and she said that she had passed away. So I didn't get that chance to tell her about my book.
Mm. So this is, yeah, you've definitely been through the storm and the fire, so to speak. And we salute you for continuously pushing forward. Um, one of the things that I saw inside of your book is that you have a lot of poems about love, and you also have a lot of poems about family.
Mhm.
So did these events and losing the people that you love have an impact on your writing?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have any maybe the one that you wrote for your dad that you want to share with the audience so that they can see the depth of the love between a daughter and father?
Okay. So you know what about my dad? Daddy, I miss you. I'm at loss of words. I never seen this coming. I should have came sooner. I should have called you often. All our time spent together is gone. You won't be able to walk me down the aisle. The boys miss you terribly. I'm sorry they saw you that way. It will forever be etched in mine and the boys' brains forever. You meant everything to the boys. They cherished every moment with you. You were their father figure. You cared for them in every way possible. I appreciate all that you have done for myself and my sons. I don't know how I can go on from this. I love you, Daddy. I wish I would have known. I pray you are happy and pain free your final days.
Absolutely. Listen, and how many people can actually relate to that right now? With everything that's going on, um, like I said, 2020 and this year, it's almost like we stepped into a completely warped decade, right? And so for you to express that love and that compassion in those poems is heavy. Is heavy. Um, what we're gonna do again, take a quick break. We'll be right back. Seems like I can see the I can see your emotions hitting, and we'll be right back in about two and two.
Before I go, if I can say something, man, about you, like
Okay.
you've helped me with this whole process. I mean, I can't even put into words how much I appreciate what you've done. And I'm going to tell everybody who's watching, who's going to be watching, if you want to be an author and you want to get your book out there, man, this is the dude for you. Because, you know, someone referred me to you and you were like on the phone, boom. It didn't even take you no time to, you know, get with me and put this thing together. And within a couple weeks, man, I'm a best-selling author. You know, so kudos to you and what you do. And I promise you that I am going to try my best to bring people. I've actually turned a couple people into, you know, program them or trying to program to them to write a book because of you. And I want to say thank you. I appreciate you and all the success that the book does. Hey, some of that goes definitely to you. So anyone out there, man, highly, highly, highly recommend it.
That's all you, brother. You got me over here feeling like somebody chopping an onion. So yeah. So hey, and we're back. We're back. Like I said, it's been an emotional book talk live. Definitely a very emotional book talk live because Ashley has the author that we are speaking with today is Miss Ashley Thomas, the poet behind Poems by Gabrielle. She is an amazing poet, has amazing works, and has been inspired by life events, not just life events, love, family, and she's poured her work into her first book, Poems by Gabrielle. So let's shift gears a little bit, right? Let's talk about your writing process because a lot of people are still out there on the fence and saying, you know, I got a book in me and I've been through some things in life, but nobody wants to hear it, right? And you've been that person as well. You were probably that person for a little bit. So what was it? What was your process like writing your first book and what got you off the fence?
Um, I guess just knowing that people do go through experiences, and it's not just me. I'm not the only person that goes through something. Everybody else goes through something, and I know that it would help other people. It will help other people and just motivate them to want to let others know what they've gone through and inspire other people to want to do the same thing.
Okay. Yeah. And so you gotta helping others is what got you off the fence to get your
Mhm.
work out there to help others, right? How was your writing process? Like what every author has a different writing process. And so what was your writing process like? Where did you write? What did you use to write? How often did you write, etc.?
Um, I wrote with pencil paper, just general things. Um, Whenever something just came to mind or something that I really felt strongly about, it was something that I just felt that I needed to write to get off my chest so it won't like just stay in my mind all the time. It's kind of like say for instance like a relationship or something. I would write about that certain relationship and it would be like a closure to me for me to just like move on from it.
Okay. So you use your pen as therapy.
Yes.
I love it. I love it because there's so many people out there that have experienced those relationships and they need to get that out instead of walking into new relationships and bringing old baggage with them, right? Um, what what got you off the fence for you? Like what was the what was it like when you were finally published as an author?
What was it like? Mm, yeah, it was a great feeling that I finally got it finished, that I was able to gather everything that I wanted out there and have it finalized. And once I had the copy, I was like, I did it. And it's always been something that I wanted to do, and I want to continue to write more books.
Absolutely, and I see a few more in you after you published your book. You actually were able to experience a few different events and even book signings.
Yeah.
How was that experience for you?
It was great. A whole lot of people are like shocked and amazed that I wrote a book, and then like even a few people that I've let look at my book, they could tell me like, yeah, I can relate to that. That's happened to me, and there's something in there for everybody that they can relate to.
Absolutely, definitely. There's definitely something in these pages that anybody and everybody can relate to, right? And so as I mentioned before, you were one of the first people that took the call in the very early stages of the Business of Books Mastermind program, because it wasn't just the Business of Books Mastermind program then. It had started as, people were asking, and you were one of those people that was like, help me get my book out, help me get my book out. And we actually had the first few sessions of the coaching group.
Hmm.
And there were times when, you were working multiple jobs at the time, and and I would look up and Ashley is on the call, but she's like this.
Yeah.
Right.
We don't
So,
gotta mention that.
huh?
We didn't have to mention that.
It's the truth though. It's the truth. And one of the things is that even though in that moment, you may have been exhausted, you were still putting in the work that it took to get that book out there. And that is much appreciated, because I know that there's a lot of people that um, need or want those strategies, and you made it you simplified the process in terms of what it took to make it happen. So I want to say I definitely salute you for following through and for getting that first book out there so that you are now a published author. This weekend we finally reconnected and got that book launched as an Amazon #1 bestseller in a few categories. What is the feeling now after 3 years of being a published author to now be an Amazon #1 best-selling author?
I'm ecstatic. Like I'm super happy that it's finally came, and I'm just ready to get out and do some more books and hopefully get into like public speaking. I'm more motivated into putting more of my writing out there.
Absolutely, absolutely. I can see that. And quick plug. I know we do the commercials each week, but one thing I want to mention for those of you who are watching and those of you who are tuned in or even catching the replay, few things that we do teach within the Business of Books Mastermind program is one of the few of the things that we do teach within the Business of Books Mastermind program and BOBM Publishing LLC is we can help you get your next book out there. We can get it edited, and we don't just go through the process of proofreading. We actually have editors that are line editors, copy editors. They go in extreme detail through those books. cover design, graphic designers. We have amazing graphic designers that will help you. And for those of you who have a book and are just looking for that coaching, um, we have an amazing community of authors, new and experienced, who talk on a consistent basis every day, Monday through Friday. We meet and discuss different parts of being a published author, from writing tips to business tips, and check in for accountability reasons. So for those of y'all that are out there that are thinking and that are on the fence, like Ashley was at one point, um, that's what we do with the Business of Books Mastermind program, and we would love to work with you all to help you all get your book out there. Um, before we, as we continue, Ashley, just want to check in with you. What's next for Miss Ashley Thomas?
Next,
hmm
um,
What's the next book we can look for from Ashley?
my life story.
You have an amazing story, and I'm gonna put you on the spot. When can we look for that book to be out there?
Um, Hopefully this year or
Yeah,
by the beginning of next year. I just
okay.
gotta write it.
So we'll say early 2022. The
Yeah.
Ashley Thomas story will be out there. What would make somebody? You've already talked about a few things in terms of losing your mom at such an early age. Um, you talked about your dad, and actually, for those who are just tuning in, Ashley didn't get a phone call that her dad was gone. She found her dad, um, and the story is still heartbreaking to me of how you found your dad in this moment when he had a he had transitioned, right? And then losing your sister before she could actually see the book that you had written. What are some other things that people can look for inside of your life story? Because I know you got some stuff that's going to motivate those people who are out there and looking for something different.
Mm, let me
Your
see.
triumphs.
What'd you
Some of
say?
I say some of your triumphs, some of your victories.
Um, Giants. I know whenever I was going through some, I was in the phase of depression. I guess you could say I just felt trapped, but I knew that I couldn't let that be what I am because I'm not a depressed person. I'm full of life, and I want my kids to see that they've had this tragedy, that they can overcome it. My youngest son just went through something, and he knows that all this can be overcome. And just whatever you put your mind to, and don't allow yourself to be a victim, be a victor. You you decide what your story is going to be. You decide what that chapter is going to be.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You're not a victim. You are a victor. You are victorious. So you have to decide. Well, listen, we're looking forward to seeing more from Miss Ashley Thomas. Next book coming out early 2022. Um, amazing young woman who has been through the storms of life, and she's still standing, raising two phenomenal boys, and um, she's gonna motivate y'all. So, you got any last words for the audience, Ms. Ashley?
Um, just thank you for your support, and do whatever you set your mind to. The sky is the limit. That's it.
All right. Well, y'all heard it here. The sky is the limit. Do what you put your mind to. We love y'all, and we will see you guys next week. Love y'all.
Bye.